Café Anyway.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 1461, and Mike Matthews broadcasting from Café Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valleymont. Today, we are going to talk to KYE ALFRED HILLIG into an interview. We haven't talked to him in a while. I think I've talked to him 5 or 6 times now. And we'll also get to Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player,
Mike's Daily Podcast,
and the Brewmaster. This show, I will not criticize Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I did that on the last Sunday show, and I apologize.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
He is a young actor that I don't know a single thing he's been in, except for 500 Days of Summer, which was with Zooey Deschanel, and that's always been my favorite Zooey Deschanel movie, except for Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which she did with Sam Rockwell and that guy from The Hobbit as well. Martin Freeman, that's right. Okay.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
So I would like to tell you that yesterday was a wonderful Saturday. I usually take Saturdays off, so
Mike's
no podcast on the
Daily
yesterday. No.
Podcast.
I went to Half Moon Bay. I looked at Google Maps, and it was green all the way to Half Moon Bay, and I'm like, yes, I'm on this. Let's do this. So I get all the way almost to Half Moon Bay, and then there's traffic all through town because they were having, look who just walked in, their big pumpkin festival. So we eventually got to the beach, Basil the Boxer and I, and then we saw a great sunset that was kind of mired by the smoke that we've had lately from our neighbors to the north. Not the Canadians, no. I'm talking about the people in Sonoma County. Look who else walked in. And the horrible fires. And suddenly the sunset was beautiful. Well,
and here's today's podcast picture.
The podcast picture is a drawing with Bison Bentley and I, who's here somewhere. A bunch of people walked in. Let's find out who they are. Right now. Oh, by the way, getting home from Half Moon Bay, though, even though I left Half Moon Bay around 7, the traffic was crazy. It's just, I think this is how it is not only when the festival's going on, but whenever, any weekend, Half Moon Bay is packed. And that's how it is. Look who walked in. Hi, Mark, it's Benita the Rootabega. How y'all doing?
It's a Disgruntled Fiddle Player. Tell you what.
What?
I hear you got a great musician on today. Such.
KYE ALFRED HILLIG. Yes, he's on. Look who else is here.
Hello, Mike. I make the delicious root beer. I'm the Brewmaster. Oh, absolutely.
Thank you. And someone else. Hey, Mike, it's Bison Bentley. Do you know that? And Bison Bentley is in the picture. Okay, I think we got everyone. Yay. Anyway, Café Anyway. Some news to zip through really quick. One of them is that, everybody's doing the Uber thing and the Lyft thing. Well, here's something interesting. I think the people that work for Uber and Lyft, the people like you and me, the common folk that do the driving, I don't think people are going to stick around for that job much longer. It's tough. This one guy I know, he posted on Facebook today, I can't even describe the relief and rebirth I feel by not driving around strangers anymore. I feel reincarnated into an experience without brats and dicks. And he meant Richards by that. People named Richard. It's a shortened name, abbreviated name. I don't know how that happened, but it did. Annoying music, obnoxious colognes, and faraway places I've never have to visit again. 4,400 trips was my breaking point, and now I'm free. Hashtag Uber. And somebody asked him, wow, over how many years? And this guy said, over 2 years. And I told him I was going to talk about it on today's podcast, and I said I think it's fascinating that Uber and Lyft have built their businesses on people they assume are never going to get sick of that kind of work, which is not easy. Now, taxi drivers have done it for eons. Well, I guess for as long as there's been a car, or I guess as long as there've been horses pulling the carriages. Those guys were like taxi drivers, weren't they? And they had resilience. They were being paid in tips and so forth, they stuck around. But the people that are doing it now, like this guy who replied to my post, he said, in the Uber car lease situation like I was in, it was basically slave labor. I was paying over $800 a month for a Prius in exchange for the opportunity to work for them, LOL. Which everyone knows is my real name, LOL. My name is Lol Matthews. How are you? How you doing? So that another person on Facebook posted that they were wondering why Tim Hortons coffee was so bad, and I asked what Tim Horton was because I'm not from Canada, and someone gave me this link to Tim Hortons Wikipedia page. And I didn't realize that he was a Canadian professional ice hockey player for 24 seasons in the NHL, and he played for Toronto, New York, Pittsburgh, and Buffalo. And he was named one of the 100 greatest NHL players in history. Also a successful businessman, he was the co-founder of the Tim Hortons restaurant chain. He was born in 1930, died in 1974. He died at the age of 44, younger than I am now. So that was fascinating. Also, this fascinating article that was written for Generation Zers by a millennial. And this person writing to this Gen Zer, this article found in BuzzFeed called, what was it called? Millennials are over. It's Gen Zers' turn to ruin everything. We're getting old, losing our edge. Here's some advice and some warnings for the generation claiming our crown, wrote this millennial. Take out your AirPods for a second. We need to talk. For the past 10 years, my friends and I were the generational stars of the party. They called us millennials, and we were the envy and fascination of the world. Marketers craved our approval. CEOs wanted to hire us. The media fought for our attention, and parents everywhere worried that we were doing sex wrong. It was fun while it lasted, but like a slice of avocado toast left too long in the sun, our cultural relevance has begun to rot. 2017 is the beginning of the end of the millennial era, and we are rapidly ceding influence to you, a group now dubbed Gen Z. See, I thought they were going to be called the I generation, as in the iPod, but they're Generation Z, which sounds like the zombie generation. And wasn't there that movie with Brad Pitt that title of that movie sounded something like Generation Z? So some strange, exhilarating, and awful things are going to happen to you as my aging generation hands over the crown, says this millennial. I'm a Gen Xer, by the way. So to hear this makes me laugh. And I, in some ways, can identify with this. I felt some of these things, too, when I realized the millennials were taking over. This millennial writes, you will be celebrated and scorned, built up, then torn down. You'll be blamed for a series of absurd and unlikely trends that probably have nothing to do with you. If a company is failing or a TV show bombs or a weird new drug becomes popular, it'll be all your fault. Sometimes it felt weird being blamed for something that wasn't working, but seriously cherish every minute of it, especially when you do something good for once. You might usher in an era of lavish office perks and meaningful career paths. You may reinvent brunch. You won't have the joy of inventing the selfie, but you'll probably take it in an exciting new direction. You'll almost certainly get a Time magazine cover. What's a magazine? And an ambitious media company owned by old people will definitely declare itself your generational voice. And the reason why, and as I wrap this interesting news story up here, the reason why this article was written was because the oldest Gen Zers are turning 18 this year. And as this author writes, we millennials, long used to being the cool kids, can already feel your cultural power pushing us to the side. While big and deeply uncool companies once paid $20,000 an hour to learn how millennials think, they've now moved on to shelling out cash for Gen Z experts, frequently paying teens themselves to advise us on what's cool. This article written by Taylor Lorenz, a BuzzFeed contributor. Thank you, Taylor Lorenz. And finally, there was, a partisan clash over Obamacare may result in a government shutdown. Democrats accusing President Trump of trying to sabotage the nation's healthcare system through his decision to halt payments to insurers meant to shore up the system. While Republicans countered today that Trump isn't pushing for hard bargains. And then a woman accused Trump of groping her in 2007 is subpoenaing his campaign for any documents on any woman alleging that Donald J. Trump touched her inappropriately. Her name is Summer Zervos, a former contestant on the reality show The Apprentice. And finally, the laptop. Things to look out for if your laptop is in trouble and how to fix them. This is an article in Popular Science. Just basically the trouble things would be sluggish and unresponsive performance, persistent error messages, unrequested changes to settings, random web pop-ups, strange noises. All those could mean your laptop's about to crash. They give you tips on how to fix them on Popular Science. But now we can't worry about that because we got to get to our interview with the wonderful Kai Alfred Hilliig. You can hear all the past interviews I did with Kai and check out the podcast pictures that I've done. Every show I've done, all 1,461 of them, have a podcast picture. You can see all of those at mikesdailypodcast.com. You can help out the show, too, through the Amazon link. Click on that and buy whatever it is you're going to buy. That helps us out. There's also the PayPal. If you'd like to help us out that way, you'll become an Inglorious Mike's Daily Podcaster and get a special greeting from all the Café Anyway characters. Mike'sDailyPodcast.com. Okay, here we go.
Into an interview.
Hi, is this Mike?
Kai!
Hey, how you doing?
It's been a long time.
It has. How long has it been? Like a year? Maybe a year.
I think so, because it was when you released the Great Falls International Memorial
Interception.
Great Falls Memorial Interchange.
Yeah, that's you have a good memory. I think most people struggle to remember that one.
And I downloaded that and put it on my iPhone and stuck the iPhone to a, what do you call it? One of these things. I think it's called the iHome. It's this.
Oh, yeah.
It's like an alarm clock. So it wakes me up in the morning, and I used to listen to all your songs. Should have been that good to you. I was on my way, and
yeah.
And
did you ever? I mean, did you start to hate it? Because like I used to have an alarm clock that would start to Bob Dylan's what was it?
How does it feel?
Yeah. I don't know why my brain is out in space. Something that, and I love like a Rolling Stone. And
a Rolling Stone.
My brain, after a while, I was like, God, I love that song, but I started associating it with waking up in the middle of the night because I had like a graveyard shift job. So I was like, no, maybe I should not use that song. So I continued to enjoy it,
Well, I still love, and those songs that you wrote from that album are deep in my subconscious now. And so I love that album so much. But now you got a new album. I was like, it's a radio voice. It's called Fossil.
It is, yeah.
Now, a fossil, Kai Alfred Hilliig, is a piece of dead animal deep in the earth that has been imprinted on a piece of rock.
Yes, that's one way of looking at it, yeah.
Oh, I hear a dog. Is that your dog?
Yeah, he's very protective, and as soon as anybody kind of comes up to the house, this in this instance, I believe it's my wife, but he's still protective nonetheless.
That's how Basil is, too. Basil says hi.
Is he? Oh, hello, Basil. Is he saving you from a lot of really dangerous people who are out walking on the sidewalks?
Yeah, he does. And he, It's so funny how protective dogs are. Like, they see you sitting there enjoying your interview with Mike Matthews, and they're like, I gotta protect Kai. Hold on. Woof, woof, woof. Stay the hell back away from Kai. He's enjoying a phone call conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how dogs are all the time. They're like those bouncers that people walk around with, movie stars.
Yeah. He's my part of my crew, you know.
Yeah.
But he'll get into like the floor creak or something and think that he's, something's at risk.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, we love our dogs, don't we? I forgot, what was your dog's name?
His name is Romeo, but we don't really call him Romeo. We call him Pokey.
Oh, okay.
Because he's slow.
My name's not really Mike. It's Dweezil.
Well, that's... are you one of Zappa's children?
I'm replacing that other Dweezil because he.
You stepped in his place.
Yeah, although I don't have as cool a hair as he's got cool hair and I don't, so I got no hair. But Dweezil's
He had a shaved head for a long time, but maybe he didn't.
Oh.
Now when I see pictures of him, he's got like crazy hair.
Oh, okay. He's huge in Germany because they still love his dad. And Germans just love Zappa so much. So when Dweezil shows up, they're like, "Ach du Lieber, it's Dweezil."
I didn't know that, but I'm glad that he still has a large audience. That's kind of cool.
We should talk about songwriting and less about Zappa and more about Hillig, Kai Alfred Hillig.
Yes.
What inspired this album, Fossil? All of a sudden, out of the blue, I noticed on your Instagram or your Facebook, or maybe I'm following you on both of those. Maybe I'm just a stalker. You had shown some of your Pro Tools project, was it, for this album recently?
Yeah, I posted a couple like little videos and stuff. Sorry, I have a tickle in my throat for some reason. But I put up a couple of pictures of just us working on stuff. It's just kind of a way to like have people get to see what we're doing or whatever. Maybe they don't want to see how the sausage gets made or whatever. But I just think it might be kind of fun for folks if they like the record to kind of look at some of that stuff.
Did you produce this album all yourself?
No, I did it with James Resch, who did my first couple with me too.
Oh, okay. I like his work with you.
Yeah. He's a really creative fellow, and this one we had a hard time with. So it was.
Why was it hard, Kai? Why was it hard?
It was hard because we did everything backwards this time. So, like normally when we make songs, we put down like a basic framework. We have I do demos of the songs, and then we do kind of like cleaned up better versions of them when we rework them for a record, right?
Okay.
And this time around, we threw out any concept of the old version at all. And what we did is we started with vocals.
Okay.
And so all we had was just a voice kind of hanging in space.
Oh, wow.
And then we just had people kind of play over the top of that.
That sounds so difficult. Because usually people have a click track or something, don't they?
Yeah, and all people have, we have like a root note thing. So like on a synthesizer, like almost like a Muzak version, where you could kind of hear what the note was going to be played.
Oh, okay.
But then people would just kind of play over the top of it, and then we pulled all that stuff out. So every song kind of ended up being a remix.
Oh, wow. Kai, this is fascinating. So I want to play a song called Somewhere Over the Rainbow One Too Many Times. And, by the way, I want to throw this out there. You've got some great backup vocals. Some ladies, or is it one woman singing with you? Or
yeah, there's a couple that sung on this. So yeah. There's one was Stephanie M. Johnson, who was kind of most known for her work on the show The Voice.
Really?
She's a Tacoma gal, and her and I are friends, and she has a really spectacular voice, so I wanted her to sing on the record. So a lot of the vocals on it are hers.
Okay. That's awesome. Well, what I'm going to do is we're going to kind of zip through some of my favorite songs on this album, Fossil by Kai Alfred Hillig. And you can find Kai Alfred Hillig at KYEAlfredHillig.com. And that's Kai, K-Y-E. There's an E in there. And then Alfred, like Alfred Brooks. And then Hillig, like a hill with an ig at the end. .bandcamp.com.
Yeah, exactly. Bandcamp.
So let's play Somewhere Over the Rainbow 120 times. Let's listen to it.
Harness my heart in darkness. Not usually how I dress, but I can if you like. Put on a mask face by the cards that Hallmark makes. Man, you drank the Kool-Aid and thought it tasted alright. And there's nothing wrong with feeling right, with getting along or bringing this world a little light. But I've heard somewhere over the rainbow one too many times. Well, of course, I have been divorced, but betting on a losing horse don't make you blind. Humanity, as far as the eye can see, dead faces staring into screens, trying to crawl towards the light. And there's nothing wrong with feeling right, with getting along or bringing this world a little light. But I've heard somewhere over the rainbow one too many times.
Oh, that was a great song. So just so everyone knows, because I like to show how sausage is made, because I'm German. And that is part of me is anyway. And that is what we did was I was interviewing Kai and I introduced the song and then I stopped talking and then I immediately started talking like 1 second later and Kai's like, wait a minute, my song's much longer than that. What are you doing? But see, in post, this will all make sense, Kai.
Yeah, I kind of prefer that if you even didn't play the song and then it just looks like we're crazy. You know, like, wasn't that spectacular? Like, they're going to think it's like an art piece or something, you know?
Or just play like one note of the song, like, bah! Oh, that was a great song. Okay.
Wow. It's concise. Yeah, it really gets to the point.
Years ago, there was a comedy team. They didn't tour and do comedy. All they did was make funny albums. Oh, I can't think of their name. Like, it wasn't Bob and Ray, but somebody like that. And they were doing a spoof on how PBS do these horrible fundraisers, and they're like, oh, in just a moment we'll go back to the beautiful concerto from the Seattle Tacoma Symphony, but first make sure to give us money, blah blah blah. Okay, let's go back to the symphony. And then like they play like 2 seconds of it. Hey, we'll get back to more of that, but remember, you need to support PBS. And they only played a little snippet. Isn't that true, Kai?
Yeah, I like that. I wish we did things that way here.
So many things. But Kai, tell me about Rainbow Lake. Doesn't this also have Stephanie on it?
Yeah, it does. That's the one I think where she's most active on it. That one was a bit of a weirdo, which is why I liked it. I had this kind of idea. I was thinking about like my time in high school, and this is going to sound crazy. This whole thing's going to sound crazy, but I kind of thought about it as like a stained glass window or something that maybe you have dropped, and so it's all these kind of just scattered pieces. And so I was thinking about like my time in high school that way, and so it's all these kind of just like little images from that period of time.
So overall, your high school experience was like a stained glass window but then it broke into a million pieces somewhere along the line, and that's how you see it now.
When I turned it into a song, yeah.
16 years old and she does her hair in the mirror, and the river, sure it flows, but it does so to be near her, and I haven't yet to quit. I got a carton from the natives, and my hands, they smell of sex and perfume, still undetermined, and stolen beer from up the road by a rainbow that is falling. And if you come lift me up, I bet I'll fit upon your shoulders like my father used to do, before time had bowled him over and you're afraid.
All the power that they have is the power that you gave away. You gave away. Gave away.
Bad religion, I have listened, I got all your tapes in my car, and when I am old enough, I'll dye my hair and join the Grand March, and the prom is coming up, and it's looking like I'll take her, and if my eyes are burning blue, then I'm delivered from the maker. I've got black kids at my school, but they haven't acclimated. I had something more to wish, but it hasn't yet been granted. I've been waiting by the edge of the future's only forest, for the horoscope believed I'm a Virgo, you're a Taurus, and you're afraid.
All the power that they have is the power that you gave away. You gave away.
Beautiful. All right, I want to play Winter on the Ocean. Oh my,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, just the title. I see you in your thick tweed jacket out there in the cold, and you're walking along, and you're remembering when you were 13. Wait, is it 14? What's the refrain? Back to
16.
16.
Yeah.
One of those ages long ago. But tell me about this song and what inspired it. It's so picturesque.
I was thinking a lot about. Well, I was trying to write a happy song, and it didn't work. And I was like, because there's a place that's out on the peninsula here that I've been going to for a long time. It's a place called Claylock, Washington, and I was like, well, I'm just going to write a nice song about Claylock, and I couldn't do it. I tried just to write a nice song about being at the ocean, but it didn't work. So.
Wait, this is a nice song. What are you talking about?
I didn't mean it. It went a little bit. It got a little. It went darker than I thought it was going to. I wanted it to be just an uplifting, feel-good song, and instead it ended up being about, like, mortality and the passage of time.
Oh, I see what you're saying now. Yeah.
All this kind of stuff, and I didn't mean to get so heavy. I really, literally just wanted to write a song about the ocean.
You are a deep fellow, Kai, but I'll never forget when I met up with you and Peter Jordan, of Cloud Person, and Brian, of course, and there we were at that place underground, underneath a thrift store, that performance space.
Yeah,
in San Francisco.
Yeah.
In the Tenderloin. And when you performed, the room was full of these millennials, these young people, and they were transfixed by your performance. And there you were with just a guitar, and they were just, I remember all of them just watching you like, whoa, this guy's awesome.
Yeah, that was a nice night. That was, I think that might have been my favorite show of that tour, I think. That was a really lovely evening.
Winter at the ocean, tucking in at the lodge. Order a cup of coffee and nod off. The waitress, she tells me there's no power where she lives. Her husband is a logger, she's got 3 kids. The gift shop selling handmade hats, somebody's mother knit. They're selling fast, but I got what I could get. And how long have I been coming here? I guess I was 16, smoking cigarettes, leaning on a dream. I remember once passing an old man on the beach. I looked at him and he looked back at me. Oh, just leave me here, I'll be fine. Standing here shivering might slow the passage of time. Nobody knows me here, it doesn't matter what I think. I could be 34, or I could be 16. I could be 16. I could be 16. I could sign the guest book, write someone else's name. I could jerk off in my room or walk in the rain. There's a painting of a grand old ship hanging on the wall, pointing bravely onward through the squall. Isn't there another place to hang this? A bathroom or a garage, or over a bonfire like a log? And how long must I return here? Don't I have better things to do than walk around aimless, sand and shoe? There's plenty of young lovers here getting keys to their rooms. Some look like me, some look like you. Oh, just leave me here, I'll be fine. Standing here shivering might slow the passage of time. Nobody knows me here, it doesn't matter what I think. I could be 34, or I could be 16. I could be 16. I could be 16.
Hey, I wanted to also mention that you did a fantastic version of G through L. You're G through L, just so you know. You did a great version of Bruce Springsteen's Streets of Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah.
And what
I was
inspired that?
Oh, well, that's one of my favorite songs of his, and I was, there's a independent theater in Tacoma, Washington, called The Grand, and they were throwing an event where it's called like the Music of Cinema or something like this, and so they asked me to do some songs for it, and one of them was The Weary Kind from Crazy Heart, which is a pretty good song too, and so I played that, and then additionally I did The Streets of Philadelphia, and well, ironically at the same time, the producer fellow that I work with often, James Resch, was thinking of cooking up a version of it with me, and so it just happened to work out, and so we used it as like a promo tool for the show, and just posted it to kind of, hype the show or whatever, and people seemed to like it, so.
My favorite part of that song is "Ain't nobody gonna greet me. It's just you and me, my friend."
Oh, yeah, no, ain't no angel's gonna greet me.
Ain't no angel's gonna greet me. Yes. Oh.
Ain't no angel gonna greet me. It's just you and I, my friend. My clothes don't fit me no more. I walked 1,000 miles just to slip this skin.
Well, once more, I'd like to say to my one listener, Sylvia, who is a Buddhist, to check out the album Fossil and go to KYEALFREDHILLIG.com. I mean, KYEALFREDHILLIG.bandcamp.com.
There you go, you got it.
To hear cuts off of it. And where can they? iTunes as well.
iTunes and Spotify, yeah.
Woo! Kyle Alfred Hilliig.
Yay.
Some great music from Kai as we go outside of Café Anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcaster Valley. Next show, it will be Madame Rootabega, Valentino, and Bison Bentley will be back.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com.